I don't know if you guys have heard of this movie, The Woman King. I only heard about it recently. Taylor was the first one up on this story, as Taylor so often is the first one up on these stories. Apparently, it's a woman. Apparently, this is a movie coming out about a tribe, a feminine, matriarchal tribe known as the Dahomey tribe. A West African tribe that apparently in this movie is going to overcome a bunch of white colonizers who are coming to enslave them and to instate a slave trade of some sort. And you see this woman here. You probably, a lot of you recognize her. That's Viola Davis. She's an award-winning actress and has been in the acting game for quite some time. We've known that she's woke. But this movie apparently is an utter rewriting of history as far as the Dahomey tribe goes. So as much as they accuse us and people on the right side of the aisle as rewriting history or not wanting to talk about true history, here we have The Woman King that's coming out that is a complete and utter fabrication of history. Now, the Dahomey tribe apparently did exist. What they left out in the movie is that they in fact were a slave tribe that was actively engaging in enslaving their own people and people from other regions in West Africa. So as much as they did end up taking, what was it, down like maybe a 7 or 9 colonial
How
people?
many soldiers that they killed from the colonists? Yeah. I mean, one tweet I saw said that in the historical account has them inflicting like 10 casualties on the colonials versus taking 1,000 casualties among themselves. So like, it's just a strange thing to make a movie about this tribe that wasn't very effective at fighting, but casting them as this anti-colonial force that usurped them. Yes.
They were very effective at enslaving other people, though. Let's make that extremely clear. They were very effective in instating a slave state in their own region. Let's read some of this. So, set in 1823, the film positions Nanisca, based on a real person, although she lived in a later era, as the leader of an epic fight to destroy slavery. Under the approving eye of the wise king, also a real person, named Gezo, she suggests transforming the country's trade into one built on palm oil, very famously from West Africa. All that is required to achieve this economic and moral revolution is one final decisive victory against the Oyo, who, after being rejected in a demand for tribute, seek to defeat and enslave the Agoji? Sure. Beat the Oya, and slavery will be beaten. Like we said, so that's a very beautiful depiction of what was a very different reality in history. So even leaving aside the extensive slave raiding and slave trading history of the Dahomey prior to 1823, this is comical. Oyo collapsed in 1835, and Gezo used the opportunity created by the fragmentation of the empire to capture more slaves from Oyo, from his now unprotected population. So
warring to enslave his neighbors was the main source of Gezo's wealth.
He's literally
He resisted every British entreaty and threat to get him to abandon slave trading and get into the palm oil business. But that's the exact opposite of what the movie
The exact
plot is.
opposite. The movie plot is like, we need to beat this great enslaver, and that's how we will build our business and build our freedom. When in fact, they wanted to beat the great enslaver to enslave the people that he was enslaving.
But we just want to teach history, guys. That's why we need the 1619 Project and critical race theory in schools. We're just trying to teach history.
Right.
Accurate history is what it's all about. That's also why we're tearing down the George Washington statue. It's just accurate history is what we're really passionate about.
White people have only ever enslaved black people. It's never been black people enslaving black people. We have never had a part in that as Africans. We have never done such a thing. It has always been the evil white European colonizer. Look, our movie says so. Our movie, our recreation of history, says exactly that.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little at lunch about like how there are films that take their liberties with history. Like Gladiator comes to mind. Maximus was not really a historical figure.
The Patriot.
Yeah, the Patriot. That's based on a real person, but was not Benjamin Martin in The Patriot wasn't a real character, but. In Gladiator's case, they used the history as a historical backdrop, and they were pretty accurate to like who was there and what Rome was like at the time. And this is something different. This is not only rewriting history, but deliberately forgiving or overlooking atrocities in history and rewriting the villains as heroes because they have a certain skin color and gender that fits the intersectional narrative that you want to push. And that's really all this comes down to in my mind. Is this is a movie plot that is trying to push intersectional propaganda and using some very loosely, not only loosely, they're not just loosely using a historical narrative, they're rewriting something evil into something good, because to them it's worth it if I can put my intersectional point in there. And that is just, it's par for the course for where we are today, honestly, but it's very on the nose. And the fact that millions of people are going to go pay to watch this movie, it's going to be celebrated, I'm sure people will win awards from it, and it's like, this is the state of Hollywood right now.
Yeah, and let's talk to those of you who go, I'm not going to watch this movie, because Viola Davis has something to say to you. Viola Davis says that audiences who don't see The Woman King are supporting the narrative that black women cannot lead the box office globally. That's what she says. If you don't watch it, you're supporting a narrative that black women suck, that black women can't make good movies. Well, Viola Davis, if these are the movies that you come out with, then you can't. I'm so sorry. Make something better. Make something accurate. Make something that's not a complete and utter fabrication to push forth your own agenda. And then after subsequently doing that, telling people that if they don't watch it, they're racist.
Yeah, there are great stories about African-American women that you can tell. Like Hidden Figures comes to mind.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
Yeah,
actually. I think Viola Davis is in that movie, is she not?
That's pretty on the nose. Yeah, you don't have to come up with this stuff. It's so strange. Or come up with a fictional world if you want to tell that, it's in a more Black Panther style if you want to go that route. But there are plenty of inspiring figures in history to bring to life in today. But even for them, it's not. What's most important is the intersectional commentary and propaganda I want to fit in here. So if I can pull from history and try to rewrite reality as I want it to be with these themes in there, then I'll overlook and rewrite villains and ignore the truth just to prove my point.
Right. That's exactly what's happening.